City Talks with Reuben Abati.
Hello out there, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of City Talks with Reuben Abati here on your number one lifestyle station, City 1051 FM. On this show, we talk about stories of political and human interest that affect us as Nigerians and also as members of a global human community. Today, we'll be discussing rotational presidency. And if time permits, we'll talk about other topical issues of interest in the week that is just ending. And we have a special guest. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you our guest today, Mr. Sonny Iroche. Sonny Iroche is a seasoned financial and infrastructure consultant with many years' experience and expertise in banking and finance, negotiation, business planning, procurement, strategic planning, business development, sales, and marketing for commercial, corporate, and investment banking. He's also a consultant for the private and public sectors in Nigeria, South Africa, and a number of sub-Saharan African countries. But as a concerned citizen, he is the leader of ABIA Professionals. With a lot of interest in politics and how to move Nigeria forward and how perhaps to also save Nigeria from the current drift. Mr. Sonny Iroche holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and also an MBA, Masters in Business Administration, from the Roosevelt University, Chicago, Illinois, in the United States. Now, if you want to be part of this conversation, you can call us on 0700 1051 1051. And you can also leave comments on WhatsApp 090-9916-4403. And you can also join us on social media at City 1051 on Zoom and Facebook. Mr. Sonny Iroche, thank you very much for joining us this Saturday on City Talks with Reuben Abati.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati, for your kind and eloquent introduction. When you were reeling out who I was, I wondered who you were talking about. Good to hear you.
Well, you know that was even an abridged introduction to save time so that we can have enough time. If I was to read your entire profile, that alone would take about a quarter of the time we have for the program. But very quickly, the conversation is rotational presidency. Monday this week, governors of the southern states, 17 of them, met for a second time in Lagos. Their first meeting was in Asaba. And one of their major resolutions is that power should shift to the south in 2023. Now, the southern governors have been painted like they are agitators. Groups from the northern part of the country have said they will not be stampeded into giving presidency in 2023 to the south as if it's some kind of entitlement. The coalition of northern groups, specifically, the Northern Elders Forum, specifically, governors from the north, specifically, including Yaya Bello of Kogi State, and also other groups from the north, Professor Ango Abdullahi in the past, Malam Mamandaura. These are persons who have also said, look, you can't get the presidency of Nigeria on a platter of gold. Does it look like the southern governors are just making a wrong case, an unconstitutional case, as one of the objectors from the north pointed out?
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati, for this very topical issue that's on the front burner for our country, Nigeria. I must commend the southern governors for finally waking up to their responsibilities. They do not speak as governors, as persons, but they speak as representatives and leaders of the entire southern Nigeria, plus the middle belt, and some patriotic northerners. We all know how the pragmatic politics of Nigeria plays out, trying to entrench some form of fairness in a pluralistic, multi-ethnic and religious country like Nigeria. Therefore, people must be sensitive to the sensibilities and to the yearnings of the other people that form this federating Republic of Nigeria. And if truly we are to be one country, united for altruistic reasons, there's nothing wrong with power rotating distinctly between northern Nigeria and southern Nigeria. There's nothing wrong about with that. So I must say, I align myself with the position of the southern governors and even some northerners who have spoken in support of rotational presidency. It did not start today. Why would it be when it is rotating back to the south that there be hula balu from the north? When it was agreed in 1998 that the power, the next president should come from southwest, based on so many things that had happened to the southwest, particularly the annulment of the June 12 presidential election won by MKO Abiola. The entire country agreed that the southwest had to be somewhat compensated, and the choice of Obasanjo got thrown up. And at that time, both major parties, both PDP and SDP, presented Southwesterners. PDP, Obasanjo, SDP, Olufalaye. So now, after the South had power for a long time, I think about nearly 16 years or thereabout, it was now resolved that power should go back to the North. So the current president, Buhari, won the election. You see, there are so many mixes in this whole equation. Yes, it's good for politicians to go there to sell their programs, but there must be a level playing ground. That yes, we have agreed that this zone should produce the president. But mind you, let me make a caveat here, Dr. Abati. I am one for meritocracy. I am one for the most competent individual to occupy the position of president of our country, particularly at this time of so many challenges, of insecurity, of poverty. Nigeria has been classified as the poverty capital of the country. I am not saying zone the presidency to the south to give it to a lame dog individual who doesn't know what to do and how to run an institution like a big country like Nigeria. No, it should be zoned to people with good values. It's not only geographical zoning. There must also be ethical zoning. There must also be competent zoning. Therefore, the Northeast has produced a president. The Northwest has produced a president. The North Central has produced heads of state. The Southwest has produced a president. The South has produced a president. So the only zone out of the 6 that has never produced a president or a head of state, albeit agreeance for 6 months, is the Southeast. And we believe, based on Gawan's 3 R's, reconciliation, rehabilitation, and the other R, I can't remember now. No reconstruction. Thank you very much. Based on the fact that the Igbos have been an integral part of this country, pulling their weight both nationally and internationally in commerce, in industry, in finance, in every facet of human endeavor and dignity, we strongly feel that for fairness and justice, I underline the word and emphasize the word justice, to reign. Justice was embedded in our first national anthem that was changed by Olusegun Obasanjo to the second one. also has justice. So there will be no peace without justice. So I am saying in effect that let this be zoned to the southeast. I'm not saying zoning should be the best way to go, but in the circumstances in which we find ourselves. I'll give you an example, Dr. Abati. It's like a susu that we do. When people get together and say, we shall contribute monies, then when it matures on a monthly basis, Mr. XYZ or Mrs. ABC would get our collective contributions. Then out of 6 of us, 5 have gotten their own share of a susu. Then when it comes to the 6th person, you said, no, you want to change the rules. You want to follow the constitution. What constitution? A contraption of a constitution that wasn't written by we the people? No, Dr. Abati. This is not fair. And this is what has given rise to the Igbos, the Southeast, asking, are we part of this country? If we are truly part of the country, what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. I listen to Dr. Go ahead.
Okay, I wanted you to respond to 2 posers. It's good you brought up the Constitution. Specifically, the Coalition of Northern Groups, the Northern Elders Forum, they are saying that the demand, what is now known as the Lagos Declaration, the demand by the Southern governors, is purely sentimental because the Constitution does not say that power should go to a particular part of the country. You mentioned the North Central. They are even saying that under the democratic dispensation, in fact, power should go next to the North Central. And then there's the additional question about all this zoning, rotational presidency, and all of that. That where is the evidence that if power comes to your region and a particular person from your part of the country is president, that it will serve your people well, or it will be an advantage to the ordinary man from your region? And then the final point that has been made is the denial that there was ever anything about rotation in the arrangement. And in any case, the governors of the southern part of the country did not talk specifically about the southeast. You are talking about the southeast. The southern governors talked about the south. Will you be satisfied if, for example, the presidency probably ends up in the North Central, which they say has not been a democratic, has not provided a democratic president, or if it ends up, say, in the southwest and not the southeast, which is your focus, understandably, as leader of Abia professionals?
Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. First and foremost, who asked Olusegun Obasanjo? Who asked the late Yaradua? Who asked the present President Buhari if he was going to be beneficial to his people? Why should anyone ask that question, that if it is given to a Southeasterner, or if the Southeasterner emerges as president, that he will take care of his people? No, that is not what the Igbos want. The Igbos do not want undue favoritism. All the Igbos, and by extension, every Nigerian, and I make this responsibly, what every Nigerian wants is a level playing field for us to actualize our God's ordained potential as a potentially great nation. We've been hearing this potential since I was born in the 50s. When are we going to actualize our potential? Then, to the North Central, claiming that they have never produced a president in the democratic dispensation. Nigeria did not start in 1999 during democracy. Nigeria started as an independent country since 1960. So if we are going to be honest with ourselves and not intellectually lazy and selective, then we must start from independence. The first prime minister, chief executive, and commander-in-chief of Nigeria was Sir Tafawa Balewa from independence. Then the coup that ended the First Republic threw up Iroche, who was overthrown 6 months thereafter in July. Thereafter, Gowon from North Central became president, head of state, for almost 9 years. After him was Muritala. Then the next, let's just jump this. Then we also had Ibrahim Babangida from North Central. He was there almost the longest, if not, very long tenure for about 9 years. So, what are we saying? Then when you talk about equity and justice, Shonekon was also there, head of interim government for about 6 months or thereabout. Then after
for 93 days.
For 93 days, fine, 93 days. He was there, almost the same tenure of Aguironsi. Then additionally, the Southwest produced Olusegun Obasanjo for 2 terms of 4 years. We must not continue in sin because grace abound, but let everybody, let it rotate. Then we start based on going out there, canvassing for votes, no matter what part of Nigeria you come from. What we want as Nigerians, and I emphasize it, is a level playing field where peace, justice, that would allow the hidden potential of this country to come to fore. You look at Nigerians, what they are doing all over the world. You look at the Biden administration. He has appointed 8 Nigerians, not where they come from, but for what they can give to the building of the United States of America. But what we are saying, it is let us complete the round of equity. Just this last one, 8 years in the life of a nation is not asking for too much. It's not. The Southeasterners have done well in every aspect of life. Why don't you try them out so that we are no longer the poverty capital of the world? We are no longer a laughing stock. The companies will not be leaving Nigeria and going to Ghana and other African countries. Why don't we give it a chance for 8 years? And let me tell you something here. They keep saying it's not constitutional. Have we been abiding by the letters and the spirit of the Constitution when in other aspects? No. The Constitution talks about federal character in employment. Is there federal character in, for instance, the security apparatus of this country? The answer is no. Is there federal character that is entrenched in the Constitution, reflective in all other aspects of our national life? The answer is a capital no. So why do we pick and choose where it suits us? I heard my good friend Hakim Baba Ahmed on Arise TV yesterday or 2 days ago. He was PAMSEC in Ministry of Works when I was on the board of FEMA. A fine, a gentle civil servant. But you see, when it comes to politics, people start double speaking from both sides of their mouth, forgetting historically when the North was saying we must produce the next president. But Dr. Abati, again, what is important is for this. First, for Southern Nigeria to unite as a front, as a group. Then we negotiate with our brothers from the North. What is important for us in Nigeria is peace, so that our children would have a country they can call their own. We can have a country we call our own, and let us grow our economy. Let us grow everything that we are doing in this country. Let us take Nigeria to the level where it ought to be. Where we are today is not where we ought to be. Nigeria has all the potentials of greatness. We have the men, we have the women, we have a teeming youth population that's ready to fly at the expense of meritocracy. That is the bane of our society. That is what the Southern governors are saying. Enough is enough. So let us respect each other as nationals of Nigeria. This is a country where I want to be. I have another country to go to. I have only one single passport. I am proud of my Nigerian passport, but let Nigeria be proud of me.
Well, I mean, it's very clear that you are committed, you support the idea of rotational presidency, zoning, and you talk consistently about equity, fairness, justice, and national unity. Do you really believe that if there is rotational presidency, if the principle of zoning is observed, that it will automatically ensure national unity and put an end to separatist agitations? Because at the moment we have in the Southwest Sunday Igboho leading the rebellion of the Oduduwa nation in the southeast. You have Nnamdi Kanu having issues with the Nigerian government about, a return to Biafra. Do you really think that if we have rotational presidency and power, as you insist, goes to the southeast, that there will be peace? There will be a sense of expectation that Nigeria will now provide a level playing field and no part of the country would begin to behave as if they are born to rule.
Thank you very much for that good question, Dr. Abati. There is no one silver bullet to solve the problem of any country. There are multi-layers. First, what has led to unrest? I paraphrase Martin Luther King, who says that rebellion is the only voice of the voiceless when people don't listen to them. There is a reason for that. The fairness and equity of power is at one level. That presupposes that whoever becomes president starts to address some of the issues that we call in economics mystery index. Mystery index is a combination of inflation, hyperinflation, and unemployment. The youths, you have some that are 10, 15 years unemployed, have never worked before, and they are in the country where a few people have unimaginable salaries in the National Assembly. That if you cut that by as much as 70%, the savings thereof will be able to create value in the country. I'm not saying a president from Southeast or president from Southwest is one silver bullet that will solve the problem. But let us begin. If it is good for the goose, that will be good for the gander. In the case where it stays in the North, are you saying that those agitations and those issues have been resolved? No. Let us call the Sunday Igbohos that are many. Let us call the Nnamdi Kanus that are many. Let us call the Arewayus that are many. Let us call the Niger Delta agitators that are many. The Middle Belt, there are agitators everywhere. The government is negotiating with Boko Haram. You hear Sheikh Gumi going collecting a ransom and going to deliver. I don't understand the kind of negotiations they are having. But let us negotiate with all the pockets of resentment and all those who do not want to carry Nigerian passport. Why is it so? People are happy carrying other national passports for millions of reasons. So, in a nutshell, I am not saying that rotational presidency would treat and cure all the malaise in Nigeria. But let us first, at that level, pack equity and justice to make sure the entire 6 geopolitical zones in this country have had a go at it. And let us try, because the more you try, the probability of getting a good handler of Nigeria increases. You have never tried these industrious people that are acclaimed worldwide to be hardworking, to have an agenda of seriousness. You have never tried them. Give them a chance to show what they can do, and all other things might be added onto you. What do we need as a nation? What does a nation need to progress? To me, number one is education. If the people are well educated, you see that a lot of schools, whether federal schools or state-owned schools, they've all been run down. They're a shadow of what they used to be. What is now happening is you're having private schools coming up with very high fees, which the poor people are not able to afford. So if you have a president who understands the value, the premium on education, right, then you are getting it right. After education, look, the world will not wait for Nigeria. We are talking of artificial intelligence. We are talking about electric motors. We are here fighting over PIB and fossil fuel. In the next 15 years, our crude oil will become nothing. will not be important in world economics. Are we thinking 10, 15, 20 years time, a long-term plan for Nigeria? How are we going to cushion the effect of the vestigiality and the non-essentiality of fossil oil? Who is thinking about it? Is there a commission that has been put up by the federal government to start looking at Nigeria post-crude oil relevance? These are some of the issues. And it's simple. It is not rocket science. That's what we call in economics the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a pyramid. At the base of the pyramid is the greatest number of people, of citizens. What do they need at that base? Is food. After food, you now have education. At the apex of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is where people like Dr. Reuben Abati belong to, where people wear silk ties, silk jacket, and drink champagne. The masses are not interested in that. What the masses want, who are at the base, is food. And they will not even bother who the president is. Who cares about the president of Switzerland? It rotates almost on a yearly basis between the 26 cantons of Switzerland. Who cares who the president of Singapore is? But what is important is that these countries have the highest GDP in the world. These countries have the highest feel-good index in the world. Growing up in Lagos in the 60s, who cared who was who? We all saw ourselves, first and foremost, as Nigerians. We didn't even know who was a Christian or who was a Muslim. We all lived in harmony. What has happened to Nigeria? What has happened to Nigeria is total failure of leadership.
Well, I get your point. Well, but I'm not yet at the apex of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maybe if you support me to be president of Nigeria someday, maybe I will get there. But I was going to ask you.
How do you think your villagers look at you, Reuben? You think your villagers look at you as part of them? You are part of your press.
I'm a grassroots man. Anyway, quickly, I was going to ask you.
I haven't lived and worked in National Rock. You are part of the apex.
Anyway. I mean, it's clear that you support the zoning of the presidency to the southeast. If we were to look at the southeast today, because you also made a point about competence, about meritocracy, and you were to do a short list of persons from the southeast who can be president of Nigeria and who should be encouraged and supported to be president of Nigeria in 2023, what would be your short list? Which names will feature prominently on that?
Dr. Reuben, I have written a kind of satire about a vacancy, presidential vacancy. I'm sure I shared it with you. A political satire of job vacancy come 2023. What are the criteria for the KPI of a potential Nigerian president come 2023? First and foremost, such a person must come with world view of how things are done. The person must have experience, not just because you were appointed at some point in your life in a government job. There must be evidence of long history of work, positive contribution to your community, to your ward. There is an Igbo saying, Nane Shinula Mama Aputanama. In short, it just says charity begins at home. What have you done to
for a man who was born and bred in Lagos? I see your Igbo is not bad at all.
My first language is Igbo. My second language is Yoruba. I speak English, and now I've learned French during the lockdown. So you see, it's not about the language. I take that joke. Thank you very much, Dr. Abati. So I'm sure my Yoruba brothers like you will support me in any venture I venture in this country. Mm-hmm. See, I would not want to give a list because nobody gave a list when it was in any zone. Nobody gave a list. Why must you want me to give you a list? There are so many people, when they throw their hats, I know that Samuel Huabunwa has thrown his hat in the ring. Like Zeke said, when they say, you haven't come out in 1979, he said the music hasn't started playing. That those that don't know how to dance will break their legs before the real dance legs and rhythm are required. Having said that, we have a myriad of competent Igbos that can run this country. Plenty of them. People have indicated interest. People have run before. And this issue of saying you must get your president from either the ex-Senate or ex-governor, what have those ex-senators and ex-governors done in the job they gave to them? You make a man a governor today, he starts haggling, positioning himself to be vice president or to be president. The little job they have given you to be governor of your state, of Abia State, of Ebonyi State, of Enugu State, of Anambra State, of Imo State, what have you done? Have you done anything that your people will say, yes, we'll beat our chest that we are behind this man? It's all mediocrity and it's all a gamut of corrupt leadership. So let us take our searchlight out. Let us organize proper debates where people like you, Dr. Abati, and journalists and so many people will come and ask questions. Okay, you claim you worked in Bank ABC, you worked in Central Bank, or you worked in this NGO. What did you do? How did you manage the resources? What do you know about cash management or funds management? What do you know about infrastructure? What do you know about education? What investments have you made in any of these life-changing institutions in Nigeria? It's not about you being appointed some position all of a sudden, but from your infancy, you see, growing up, you have primary education, secondary education, university, then postgraduate. You just pick a man from the middle, that the university, and so there are all kinds of funny people haggling around and saying because now Nigeria has changed. Before they could hoodwink people, pull wool over people's eyes. In 1999, when I contested for governorship of Abia State, a lot of people were not aware. Some of them accused me like I did, that I'm a Lagos boy. Yes, no apologies. What is wrong in being a Lagos boy? Lagos boy is a man who has a world view and a national view of things. I'm not ashamed of it. Yes, I was born and raised in Lagos. I'm proud of it. I went to Government College Umuahia. I went to University of Nigeria and Sugar. And I interacted with my people. I was a economic advisor to the military governor of two governors, Temisa Ejo and Moses Fasoya. And I gave account of myself. So let us realize that Nigeria has changed. The youths are, you saw it in NSAS, you now see it in all these agitations, but nerves can be calmed down if we do the right thing.
Well, okay. Well, very quickly, we're going to take a short break. But before we go, so that we invite other people who have joined us on all the platforms to be part of this conversation. But there's a question here that someone has posted, which I think, you should take almost immediately. Her name is Foluke Ademokun. And she's saying that, will you commit to an Igbo woman being president of Nigeria? No woman has been the president of Nigeria. We're talking of zoning. Time to look at gender zones. That is all about equity and justice. Give women a chance. Enough of incompetent male leadership. So you have refused to name names about who should be the possible person from the Southeast. But here is Foluke Ademokun saying, stop talking about men. How about the women from Igbo land?
Thank you, Foluke. I never said it should be man. I agree entirely with you. What I'm saying, as much as you have incompetent men, you also have incompetent women. I'm all for women. I was raised by a very, very strong mother, a very proud mother, a very hardworking mother. I also have a wife who I'm so proud of, who is hardworking, who is a committed mother, who is also a committed professional. I tell you, my wife was an executive director in United Bank of Africa. My wife also became the managing director of FinBank. She was appointed by Central Bank to recapitalize and reject the bank. So I'm surrounded by competent women. Of course, why not? We have lots of competent Igbo women. We have someone like Okonjo Iweala. She could be a good candidate. We have someone like Aruma Oti, who stood and challenged the Federal House of Rep man and said, I gave you money. You said you were going on official duty. You did not go. Return the ticket money, return the extra. We have such courageous women. I have no problem with that at all. But just as you have men, clay-footed men, you also have clay-footed women. Let us go for competence. That is word number one. In search of excellence. Be it woman, be it man, I have no problem with that. I'm surrounded by great women.
Okay, just one more question or comment which you can respond to before we take that break, before we keep our lines open. This is from Professor Kemi Rotimi. He says, I fear Mr. Iroche is thinking of emigrating to Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Cameroon, Gabon, if Nigeria continues to falter or fail. Or what is the point of, just a moment, I'll get that. Or what is the point of his acquiring a working knowledge of the French language? So why are you learning the French language? Are you doing that so that if Nigeria gets into trouble, you can quickly run across the border?
I take that the professor is on the lighter mood. There is no knowledge that is wasted. There is no knowledge that is wasted. And by the way, Professor, my wife is half Swiss and half Yoruba. And her mother was from the French side of Switzerland. And again, during lockdown, before the lockdown, I had applied. I was taking tutorial in Alliance Française, and during lockdown, I acquired a language app called Duolingo, and I started learning French instead of just wasting 1 year. So I will not emigrate to countries that are not as potentially great as Nigeria. No fear about that. I'm here with you people, so I'm not going anywhere. No leave, no transfer.
Okay, but the one that I take away is the romantic side of it. You want to communicate better with Madame in probably one of the languages she speaks.
You're always on this path, even on your right shoulder. You're always looking at the romantic side and the color of Ojinika's dress.
Anyway, we'll take a break now, and then we'll return. Mr. Sonny Iroche is still our guest, and when we return, you also have your chance to make your interventions, and he's here to respond to your questions and interventions.
City Talks with Reuben Abati.
Welcome back from that break, and for those of you just tuning in, welcome to City Talks with Reuben Abati on your number one lifestyle station, City 1051 FM. Remember, if you want to be part of this conversation, you can call us on 0700 105 1051. On WhatsApp, 09099 164403. And on social media accounts at City1051 on Zoom and Facebook. And our guest today is still Mr. Sonny Iroche, financial and infrastructure consultant and leader of Abia Professionals. And today we've been talking about rotational presidency and how to move Nigeria forward and how to ensure inclusivity in the governance process. Where do we have our first caller on the line? Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name, your location, and then your comment or question.
The comment, Tony Daniel, Barrister Tony Daniel. First, I want to commend you, Reuben Abati. You might not remember me, but I'm a man that stated the truth, pursued justice, objectively, irrespective of who is involved. You demonstrated this when I handled the Anita Organ case. That will make you remember the person talking. Well, on this issue, I commend the position taken by the guests at your studio, and I want to say that there's nothing wrong with a rotational presidency. It is good that we allow every region. Nigeria is so big, so large, so great. You cannot say that from a region you cannot get somebody that is qualified to rule the country. You can. And I agree that the Southeast has never, really enjoyed the presidency of this country since we had independence to date. The analysis have already been made. by the guest there, and I agree with him. But the Igbos, the Southeast, within them, they should, unite among themselves, because they also have the issues of, infighting and unnecessary competition among prospective aspirants. If they can reconcile themselves and talk with one voice, I'm very sure they will get the support or the needed support. For me, I'm in support of the presidency being zoned to the southeast. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel, for joining us. Mr. Iroche, I'm sure you heard him. He's talking about unity among Igbos, reconciliation among Igbos, and the need to reduce the level of competition among Igbo aspirants so that they can get the support of other Nigerians, which was a position that was taken previously, I think, at a point by Maman Daura, who said, look, Igbos should not expect that somebody will give them Nigerian presidency on a platter of gold. And I think that, the late, Abakari, also made that point. And some other northern leaders that don't expect the presidency on a platter of gold. Nobody will come and hand it over just like that.
I thank the man who asked the question. Thank you very much for supporting my position on the presidency coming to the Southeast. And I do not also, we shouldn't allow people, who really, why must everybody comment on when it is the time for the Southeast to produce a president, start talking about unity? Did anyone ask the North when they were producing the presidential candidate, why Atiku, for instance, was challenging Buhari, or why Reuben was challenging? No, listen. We as a people are Republicans and Democrats. We make no apologies to anybody. When the time comes, we shall, because there are too many competent people, there are too many qualified people in the Southeast. So when we finish our infighting, which is a family affair, nobody should poke their nose. We shall present to Nigerians a very, very strong and viable candidate. Let people not get involved in our culture. Yes, we are people who are Republicans. We are wanting to discuss to make sure. I mean, I'm an Igbo man. I come from a village. When you go to the village, we have it's great. No matter your position in life, you won't come there and say because you are a big man in quote, you want to shove it down the throat of a farmer or a organizer. No, you come and tell them why you think you would lead the Umunna. You have to show that you've always been with them. You have to show certain characteristics. When we finish putting the gold through the crucible, through the fire, then you get refined gold. Just leave us alone. Let us finish what we have been. I recall when the chairmanship of PDP was zoned to the Southeast. I was a contestant. We were many of us. But at the end of the day, someone emerged. Someone had to emerge. But you won't say because it's been zoned to Southeast, therefore we all fold our hands and say, okay, let it be Mazin Bochikwe or let it be a Sonny Rochi because I know him, because the Lagos boy or because the banker. No, you have to tell them why Sonny Rochi is the most competent to be a president from the Southeast of Nigeria. We are not looking for a president for Southeast. We want a president that emanates from the Southeast to serve the overall and general interest of the Nigerian people.
Okay, looks like we have another caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Reuben Abati. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
Dr. Sonny Roche. You have to request from Norway, the state. My position is totally different from neither the governor nor the guest position. And I'm saying it, and I will join part of your content in the different articles I've written, talking about political proximity, and it has paid nobody. And that is the truth. instead of talking about North-South competing for political power, then why not talk about ideal situation, which is of course addressing the state of a nation of Nigeria. Is Nigeria a true country? Why the diversity crisis? You understand? I believe what we should do, although this particular president has mismanaged many things, he has caused so much damage, so much catastrophe, which of course has brought about the case for southern whatever. If you have a leader, whether you are Fulani man, you are ethnic man, you are Yoruba man, you are whoever, what are your ideas of leadership? Is it about you yourself and your family and your cronies alone, or about the welfare of the people? Talking about generational legacy. They're going to put behind and give people quality education. After 60, 70, almost 70 years, I'm still talking about our lowest legacy of education. How many can we speak about our former governors and presidents in the last 20 years? So if Nigeria is truly having identity crisis of a nationhood, why can't we address that? Why do you like postponing the evil day? We are just running away from the reality, which of course was said before our independence. Are we truly one? If we are not one, why are we not one? Why can't we just sit down and discuss our differences? Just like what Sultan said, we don't have to tolerate one another. Let us understand one another instead of just tolerating one another. I'm a Yoruba man. I think I will be better if I am under a Yoruba nation than I will be under a Nigerian country where there is no unity, where there is no peace. The same thing with Igbo, the same thing with an Hausa man, the same thing with Fulani man. So let's stop pushing the evil day. Let us face it the way it is. Nigeria is not a united country, and we need to negotiate.
Dr. Abati, are you there?
Yes. I hope you heard him.
I heard him, yes.
Thank you very much.
To respond to him briefly, we're running out of time. We have just about.
I don't know when he joined, but I had talked about meritocracy. I had talked about competence before talking about zoning. Let me take it also further. No matter where the president of Nigeria comes from, come 2023, if any president is going to be president with this 1999 constitution as amended, I'm afraid it's still not going to work. We have to also concomitantly restructure the country. We have to review the constitution or go through the 2014 national conference that was put together by President Jonathan. You see, one of the banes of government in Nigeria is doing away with what the previous administration had done, no matter how altruistic it could be. Let this present administration look at the document. It's non-negotiable, but with the caveat that we should go with a reviewed constitution and a restructured Nigeria.
Okay, we'll take one more caller. Looks like there's someone again on the line. Quickly, please be brief. We're running out of time. Yes, please go ahead. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Dr. Reuben, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And your guest.
Yes, Mr. Sonny Iroche is our guest, leader of Abia Professionals.
Yes. Mr. Darlington speaking.
Welcome, Mr. Darlington. Please go ahead.
Dr. Reuben, I am tired when it comes to Igbo matter. Nigerians will start talking of unity as if we are never united. It is very wrong. Whenever it comes to this matter of presidency going to the South, the only blackmail against the Igbos is that they are not united. And I ask myself, if the Igbos were not united, how could they have held down the federal government and take power for 30 good months? How did they do that from 1967 to 1970? If they were not united, all this blackmail will not help. When Abati was in prison, how did Nigerians come together, especially the people from the north, and gave him the presidency willingly? Did Abati campaign or beg for it? Was it not a united conspiracy that gave him the presidency? Abba Buhari, was it not the United conspiracy that gave him the presidency? But when it comes to the Igbos, they are not united. Who told you they are not united? When last did you hear anybody from the Southeast rioting and killing themselves for whatever, either political or economic reasons? But you know how many times the rioting has gone on in the North over nothing? Killing and maiming. Is that unity? In the Southeast here, they are not united. How did the Funshaw William die? How did Bola Ige die? How did Abiola die? Is that unity? Please, they should spell that too. I'm tired of hearing that. If they don't want to give it to the Southeast, let them they will beg us to collect it. But they should remember that wise men came from the East. I'm not the one that said it. The Bible says so. Wise men came from the East. Go and look at all the centers of economic activities in this Lagos. Go and see what they are doing there. From Ladipo to Computer Village to Alaba International. How many times do you see them fighting and killing themselves and destroying their goods there? They are not united. Please, let them keep it though. We are not interested in it. Good afternoon.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Sonny Iroche heard you very well. He says that this talk about Igbos not being united and competing among themselves is nothing but sheer myth and blackmail. Do you agree with him?
But I said that. I had said that. Well, I said mine was different. Mine is that it's healthy. It's healthy competition. And all over the world, people compete. When you look at the Democratic Party or the Republican Party in the US, people contest from primaries until the best emerges. Even in South Africa, the ANC is not a Tea Party, you know. So, like he rightly pointed out, when Obasanjo emerged as presidential candidate, he had zero support in his own base. He even lost in his ward. So, it's nothing new. Nothing new.
Okay, we'll take another caller. We have just about 5 minutes to go on the program. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Abati and the guests in the house. My name is Sonny Uranta.
Oh, Sonny Uranta, how are you?
I want to say that every good team, if the team leaders know their onions very well, they must feature the best 11 if they really want to achieve the purpose of going into the said competition. You see, we cannot continue to have in Nigeria from independence a great Zik, advertising for someone who cannot. I mean, if you check the two people involved, the Prime Minister and the President, and then you check again during the Second Republic. You have an erudite scholar like the late Dr. Ekweme, deputizing for Shagari, a two teacher. And right now, we have a professor of law, a senior advocate, deputizing for President Buhari. We cannot continue like this. We must put our best foot forward. Even alongside this, to have a test at the presidency, for the good of Nigeria. The industriousness of Southeasterners can be brought to our own use. How can you have good materials you don't use it? I don't know why we keep arguing over this thing in Nigeria. And then we are talking about unity. Unity must have justice, must have equity and fairness behind it. Otherwise, it's just holding to the force of the gun. But it cannot work. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Roche, I'm sure you heard him. Two major points there about how people who deputize are better than their principals and how we're not choosing the best people. But they tried it in Mexico. At a time in Mexico, they were making only PhD holders presidents. But the PhD did not help Mexico. And then he's also saying that, of course, that in the Southeast, when you talk about merit, you should go for the best. Otherwise, all this talk about meritocracy will not work.
Well, that's a comment. That's the way it says it. If the tail wags the head in any ticket, so be it. But it's up to us to start getting involved, getting voters' sensitivity, letting people know, selling out selling our candidacy to the electorate. That's the way to go. Democracy is supposed to be a game of numbers, but in a pragmatic situation, not convention, not constitution, in a pragmatic situation, let us make sure there is equity after the last and only geopolitical zone that has never had a go at the presidency gets it. Then we can now sit down and say, yes, merit. But my own, one of the key issues was the question raised about women. And I said, yes. I said yes to that. If it's a woman that emerges from the east or from any part of Nigeria, yes. But that woman must be quality.
Okay, we have more callers on the line. Can we take the next caller, please? Your name, your location, please be brief.
Dr. Reuben Abati.
Thank you.
This is George talking. Good afternoon, Professor Sonny. Hello?
Hello, please go ahead.
Okay, now I want to contribute and I want to appeal to Mr. Darlington not to be offended. Because it is this...
Mr. Iroche? I guess it's Sonny Iroche. Oh, the person that called earlier. Okay, Darlington, yes.
That's Mr. Darlington.
Yes.
You should not be offended. Because the Yoruba people say, I'm sure you don't understand, but you understand. That on other radio programs, Igbo people, Tochukwu Ezekama, called to castigate Igbos in their role in the 1966 Civil War. And one of them, Negum, called to confirm it. And one other, Ugochukwu, called that they should not fight in Igbo. And that is why people are believing that Igbos are not united. So I want to plead with Darlington not to be offended. Even one of the guests on that program cautioned Tochukwu Ezekama that he should stop. It's an errant nonsense for you. And sometimes they were calling him, they were telling him thank you for exposing the role of Igbo during the 1966 Civil War. But I need you people fully. You need to go back home and set the record straight. Your brothers that are destroying you. Good afternoon, Dr. Reuben.
Well, I'm sure our guest, Sonny Iroche, heard you very well. She is insisting that she disagrees with one of the callers, Darlington, who is talking about unity. And is insisting that Igbos have to go home and ensure unity and clean up their acts and ensure that they can engage Nigerians as a united front. And she was referring to a similar program where this matter was discussed.
Well, I had addressed that issue that there will be internal competition. By the time a candidate emerges at the presidential primaries that has Southeast candidates, then what happens in Southeast in the process of producing a presidential candidate is left to the party. So whatever Anchor, but we're sure after the debates and after the rigors of getting candidates, any candidate that emerges, Igbos will throw their weight behind such a candidate.
Okay, just before we go, I would like to ask you, yes, the Lagos Declaration by the Southern governors talked about power coming back to the South. What if it happens that the power coming to the South eventually comes to the South, but not to the Southeast? Maybe to the Southwest, where you have people who have also shown interest in the 2023 presidency. Or maybe perhaps to the South-South. Will you be satisfied in that instance that justice still has been done to the extent that at least power has come to the South?
Anything that will ensure the unity of every segment of Nigeria, I am for. First, the unity of Southern Nigeria. Next, the unity of southern Nigeria and northern Nigeria. I am very much at home in southwest Nigeria with Yoruba, as I am at home with my kings, men and women, the southeast. I know how reasonable the southwest are. I know that hardly any blood of Igbo man was spilled in western region. And I know that with the grassroots of the southwest and the intelligentsia of southwest, they would reason with the southeast to allow the southeast have a go after 8 years of Olusegun Obasanjo and 0 years for a southeasterner. Is nothing but reasonableness, equity, fairness, and brotherliness.
Well, on that note, I would like to thank you very much, Mr. Sonny Iroche, for taking time out to join us on City Talks with Reuben Abati this Saturday. And I also like to thank all those who called in, our viewers, our listeners, those who joined us across all the platforms. Thank you very much indeed. And remember, the conversation does not end here. You can reach out to me on my social media account at Abati1990 on Instagram. And also, you can also join us at City1051 on all social media platforms. And for those of you who tuned in late, you don't need to worry. You can visit our YouTube page, City1051, to watch the entire show. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave comments. And don't forget also to tune in next week at noon for another exciting edition of City Talks.
City Talks with Reuben Abati.